As beekeepers, we take great pride in our honey, knowing that it's from our own hives, that it's pure, unadulterated, raw honey. Hey everybody, David Burns, good to be with you today. We do take great pride in our honey, but did you read the recent study that found toxic metals in honey? What? This is crazy. Because, backyard beekeepers, small beekeepers know that we watch what goes in and out of our hives. We know that our honey is pure. How does toxic metals get into our honey? I just read a new study that came out from SciTech Daily. I don't know if you saw this in the news, but I just want to bring your attention to it. An analysis of honeys from 48 states reveal regional trends in the distribution of toxic metals found in honey. Now that's alarming, and you might think, I don't understand what this means. That must be commercial beekeepers, maybe heavy equipment. What's getting into honey? Because you might be thinking, I'm a backyard beekeeper. I know what's in my hive. I know there's no toxic metals going on. But get this, you got to understand what this study is all about. The study, published in Environmental Pollution, analyzed 260 honey samples from 48 states for traces of 6 toxic metals: arsenic, lead, cadmium, nickel, chromium, and cobalt. Is that 6? I think it felt like 5. None of the samples contain unsafe levels of these metals based on a typical serving size of a teaspoon per day of honey, and the concentrations in the US were generally lower than global averages. Now, wait a minute. A teaspoon a day? So in other words, if you just eat a teaspoon of honey a day and you pick up some of these toxic metals, a teaspoon a day won't bother you. Does that mean 2 teaspoons? Well, what does that mean? What beekeeper only eats 1 teaspoon of honey a day? I put more than that in my coffee. By the way, we're going to have a coffee time at the end of this video, and we're going to talk more about this study. But before we get into it, Bobblehead David is here with his Santa hat on, encouraging you to please subscribe to my channel. We just reached 157,000 subscribers. Amazing to me to think a beekeeping channel could get that large. But thank you guys for subscribing. And do subscribe. It means a lot to me. Take a moment, click on the button, give me a thumbs up. Now, this study is interesting because they took all of these samples and they found these metals in 48 states all across the US. And it is staggering to look at. And listen to this. Here's where it all, you're wondering, where does this toxic metal come from? How does it get into our hives? How does it get into honey? Well, here you go. Ready? Bees act as passive samplers, picking up contaminants from the air, water, plant life while foraging. So the bees are actually going out, and as they fly in the air, they're picking up pollutants that are in the air. As they take in water from lakes, rivers, and streams and all, they're picking up pollutants from water sources. Maybe even things that settle on flowers from, things settling down onto flowers, getting into pollen and such. And bees have pollen on their back legs as they fly, so that's got to be attracting things as well. It goes on to say these contaminants end up in honey, offering us a snapshot of an area's environmental pollution. And it's pretty staggering to read this study. I actually opened up the study and learned more about it and looked up my state. My state wasn't the highest in some of these contaminations, but I'll leave a link to this study where if you want to read it in more detail, you can read the study because it does break down state by state. And so I was able to look up Illinois. You can look up your state. Some of the charts that they have here are helpful too. But to give you some examples, arsenic sounds horrible, doesn't it? I mean, arsenic in our honey sounds like it could be deadly, but again, it's very small amounts. But when I looked at arsenic in Illinois, it says we have greater than 1 to 2 UG. So it's a very small amount. Some states have a lot more. Like if you look at Ohio and out in the western states with arsenic, they're way up greater than 4 to 7 UG in their samples of honey. And it just breaks down every chemical or every metal that they found, toxic metal, state by state. So you can kind of look up your state and see in this report. Now, what does all of this mean? It means that, like I said, bees are flying through our environment and they are picking up whatever's out there, good or bad. We think they're picking up the good stuff, nectar. They're picking up pollen. We think they're picking up all the good stuff. But remember, they're flying through all the stuff. And especially when you get into bigger cities where there's just more smog or pollutants from traffic or factories, plants putting out, pollutants in the air. I live in an area here in Illinois where my biggest concern are the farm fields, and those are the things that we have around here. Arsenic, by the way, I thought about Illinois having greater than, I think, 1 to 2 UGs of arsenic in the honey samples. And I looked up where that could possibly be coming from. In their study, they don't know, but they thought maybe like arsenic is used or has been used in pest control for apple trees. And so apple orchards could be the cause of some of these toxic metals in pesticides that are being picked up by bees when they go foraging to different plants. So there's no way to get around this, is it? Now, I want to jump right into coffee time and bring this into coffee time, because here's the deal. When we see a study like this, I mean, when I was reading through my news app and picking up on I look at news on bees. And when I picked up on this one, it has a very startling title when it says, "What's in your honey? A new study finds more than just sweetness." That's intriguing, that's a good YouTube title. And I just thought, what more is in honey than the sweetness of honey? And as soon as I opened it up and started reading it, I'm like, uh-oh, that could make people panic. That could make people really think, oh my gosh, I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I was producing pure, unadulterated honey. And here I am, I'm struggling with all these weird types of metals that are in my honey. How's it coming into my honey from? Remember a few weeks ago, I made a video and I told you guys that a study was done, and Jennifer Berry did this study. What is that? University of Georgia. And she did this study where a few years back, where she actually had bees make their own comb, like just put an empty frame in there, make their own comb, and to see if there could be contaminants after a year or two in that comb that the bees make. So in other words, some people say that when you buy wax, it comes from other beekeepers that, I've heard this. I don't know if it's true, or let's say it's alleged, but I've heard that a lot of the wax comes from commercial beekeepers, big time operations that have excess wax by the tons, and so they sell it back to other places that melt it down and spray it on our frames or make wax foundation out of it. And so her study was to determine if the contaminants that are in the hive, are they coming from places like that, big beekeepers that are selling their wax back, or where is it coming from? In her study, she found that even though the bees made their own comb and didn't have any foundation, no plastic foundation, they just built their own comb, after a few years, they had the contaminants in the wax because the bees were picking it up in the environment, and as they came back, it got into the comb. So we have to be aware, sometimes we always want to blame things, why our bees are sick or not doing well or they died. We quickly jump to mites, which I agree that probably is one of the biggest causes, but we quickly jump to these known things. And I wonder how many things happen like this that we don't know about. What are our bees getting into in a very small amount, but it's contaminating their honey, it's contaminating their comb, and ultimately it's getting into the honey. All of that may have an impact on our hives. But, when I think about it, it seems like we're doing much better on controlling pollutants in the air than when I was a kid. I mean, we had just DDT that was being sprayed on crops out of crop dusters when I was a kid. We didn't have much in the way of fog or smog control. Factories, EPA was just kind of getting their feet on the ground and helping to control these things. So it was kind of a dirtier world when I was growing up back then. Not so many rules and regulations on things as it is now. So we're trying to clean things up. And even here in Illinois, where we do have farm fields and a lot of farmers that are using different chemicals to grow their crops and protect their crops, they're even getting better. They're getting more wiser about how to not contaminate the environment with harsh chemicals. But nonetheless, this is happening. Now, you might be tempted to panic. I mean, no kidding. Who isn't tempted to say, oh no, I don't know if I can sell my honey. This might hurt my sales. People may not want to eat honey anymore. Isn't it funny how sometimes we jump to the most negative thing, the most worst case scenario? And I want to talk to you about this today because, like this article, many people jump into panic mode over the smallest little thing. And a lot of times it has a lot to do with a lot of pressures that we go through in life. Like right now during the holiday seasons, by the way, Merry Christmas. Christmas is coming up. I don't have any problem saying Merry Christmas. Happy Holidays is fine, but I like Merry Christmas. So, hey, that's me, you know. You don't like it, just don't play it again. Don't go back and listen to me say it again. But I like Merry Christmas. But anyway, Christmas does bring joy and happiness and gift giving and family and cooking and all that. But as I said a couple of days ago, it's a hard time for some people. But Christmas does bring about a panic mode, I think, to a lot of people. You know, like, I got to go to this school play. I got to go to this church play. I got to go to the church choir. I have to run quickly and, you know, take my, go to the mall and buy a present. I got to get on Amazon and get my presents. I got to go here and I got to go there. I got to decorate my house and I got family coming over. I got to buy enough food and I got this party to go to and it's way far away. And it gets pretty panicky. You feel like you're going to panic. And I think when we're in a rough mode of operation, when we're kind of rough, you know what I mean? Like rough, I'm rough because a lot of things are piling up. I know if I have to speak a lot, like if I'm speaking 2 or 3 times in 1 month on bees, I can feel roughed up about that, you know, because there's not just that I'm speaking 3 times or 3 different places. That's not a big deal, but it's the travel. You know, it usually takes me a day to get there. And then I'm speaking there a day or 2, and then it takes me a day to get home. That's almost a whole week that's shot, and I'm traveling. And I don't know about you, but when you stay in, I try to stay in the same hotel everywhere I go, but sometimes they pick the hotel for me. I'm not going to say the name, but I always stay at one brand of hotels because they're boilerplated, always the same, safe, quiet, friendly, boom. And that's where I stay. Because when I have to stay at a much cheaper hotel, then I wake up in the middle of the night because they have like a little mini fridge in the refrigerator, or a little refrigerator in my hotel room, and it has a bad compressor in it. So every time it kicks on, it makes some rattly, blah, 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 blang noise every 30 minutes. I've actually unplugged things in my room that were making these crazy noises. And you just don't get your same amount of sleep when you're traveling. You don't, you know? And so you're roughed up. And when you're roughed up, tired, and out of your normal routine, it's easy for you to worry and panic and jump to wrong conclusions. So I just want to throw up a red flag. I wish I had a little red flag. I got a subscribe button. By the way, subscribe. But throw up a red flag and say, you might just need to take a nap. I can hear somebody now saying, do you hear that, honey? David said I need to take a nap. And you like David. You like what he says. He said take a nap. Yeah, take a nap. I mean, if you're so tired and roughed up from things in life, doesn't have to be the holidays. It can be just work or family squabbles. Sometimes Christmas brings up more family issues, doesn't it? So it can bring up a lot of stress. So whatever you're going through, don't let your kind of roughed up feeling let you read an article like this and make you think, oh no, my honey's not good anymore. You know what? Don't let other people put fear in you. You don't need to deal with fear, doubt, or worry. Think about those 3. Those are the 3 killers of our joy: fear, doubt, and worry. When you start fearing things, most of us fear things that aren't even going to be an issue. My wife has been reading a book by Dick Van Dyke. He wrote a book and she's been reading it and telling me things about it. And I really enjoy hearing what she's reading in that book. You know, Dick Van Dyke, he is an actor here in the US, for those of you that may not know him, but he actually is 99 years old now. And next December, he'll be 100. And we hope that he makes it that long. I mean, you know, that's a ripe old age right there. And he seems very active. But one of the things he said in this book was that he wasted so many years. If he had one thing to say about being old, is don't worry about stuff. Worrying is silly. I love that. I've heard so many older people say that. I've never heard an older person say, I wished I would have worried more about stuff. All of them say, I wished I would have eaten more ice cream. I wish I would have, you know, not taken things so seriously. So coffee time today comes maybe at a good time for you because maybe you do feel stressed out and it's easy for you to read an article about toxic metals in honey and you jump to some terrible conclusion that you don't want to ever eat honey again. Well, remember, the levels are so low that you would have to eat so much of it to even consider it being a concern. And so don't jump to irrational conclusions just because maybe you're a little tired, a little bit stressed out from the holidays, a little bit out of sorts. Okay, we all get out of sorts. I've been out of sorts. You've been out of sorts. We all get out of sorts. to tell you how my day is going, I started pretty early and trying to get this video ready. And I made this video and I went up to my edit room, having filmed it after shutting everything off in here, sat down, loaded it up in my computer, started to edit it, and noticed all of it was out of focus. It focused on the background behind me and I was out of focus. That's why I'm kind of looking at my monitor there to make sure it's got me in focus. What a waste of an hour filming. And then have to come back and do it again and remember what I said. So, but my attitude about that, when that happens, and it happens, enough that I don't like it. When it happens, I don't get down on myself. I don't go, oh no, I got to do this all over again, or just say, I'm not doing that again. No way. I suck it up. I cowboy up and I march back down, set the camera back up. Well, the lights back on, go back on the camera again and film it again. You just got to know that you're in control of your life and you decide how you view those things. I'm thankful I can film it again. I'm thankful that I enjoy, and I kind of convinced myself, I think I'll do it better the second time. I've already done it once. I'll probably say things a little bit better. And so that's the way we want to look at it. Don't get roughed up. Don't get stressed out and let things make you want to give it up. Don't give up. Keep at it. Take a nap, relax, enjoy the holidays, enjoy the idea that you are alive. And I like this phrase that I said the other day. Every day can be viewed as a holiday. Every paycheck a fortune. Every meal's a banquet. It's just how we look at it, what our perspective is. A lot to be thankful for, people. We have a lot to be thankful for. Even though you may not have a lot, even though you may be going through difficult times, a lot to be thankful for. Hey, I've lost both my parents, but I have a lot to be thankful for in how they raised me, my memories about them, how much they loved me. Our family was just a precious family, and I love them dearly. I love being a part of my family, even though my parents are gone, and I have a brother that was killed by a drunk driver. And so, we all have these moments of bad things that happen to us, but we can think of good things. We can think of the present moment, because really we only have this present moment. I'm telling you what, you can dwell on your past, but I got news for you. It's over. It's behind us. It's gone. What are you going to do? You can't change it. It's back there. And you got the future, but can we really do anything about the oncoming future? It's coming like a locomotive. What are we going to do about the future? All we have really is just the present. All I have right now in my life is just right now filming this video, looking at a camera, nothing more. That's all I have. I could die in 1 second, 2 seconds. I don't have a future promised to me. Past is over, future unknown, but I do have this present moment, and I'm not going to let anything steal my joy out of my present moment. I don't have to fear anything. I don't have to doubt anything. I don't have to worry about anything. No, that's the way we should look at it. So yeah, if you need to take a nap, take a little nap, get some hot cocoa, sit by a fireplace or something. Just find a way in your special world to get back into your routine that makes you feel good. Sit in your happy chair. I got a happy chair that I sit in the morning. Sit in your happy room. Do something that's fun and enjoyable. I've been having to rewire some stuff, and I love doing that. Oh my gosh, I love electricity so much. My dad was an electrician, and I helped him wire houses, and I learned firsthand how to electricity from a master electrician, and I love electricity. I don't know, maybe it makes me think of my dad. It does. Every time I work with electricity, I think of my dad. I can't wire a receptacle up without thinking about my dad, or a light switch, or a three-way switch, or a panel box without thinking about my dad. Maybe that's why I love electricity. Maybe I'm trying to bring him back or connect with him through my love for electricity. I don't know. But anyway, whatever is your happy space, get into that and really enjoy yourself. Now, listen, I've just made a video a while back that I think you'll really benefit from. It's one where I talk about me going through a hard time. Maybe it'd be good for you to listen to this. Christmas season can bring about some things where we need to square off ourselves mentally. So here's a video where I was healed by honeybees. Take a look at it right here, guys. See you over there.